Welcome to Bear, brought to you by Giddy, the world's largest sexual health platform.
Tom Arnold.
Hi.
How are you? How are you feeling?
Good. I'm good. Good to see you.
Thank you for having us in your home.
Yeah.
I love how protective you are of your children.
Mm-hmm.
Jax is 8.
Yes, he is.
Quinn is 5, your
yes,
girl.
She is, yeah.
Have you been this hands-on since day one?
My son was born when I was 54. My friends would say to me, well, let your wife at the time do everything, and then when he's 7, he'll be fun for you. I'm 54. I don't know where I'll be when he's 7. I'm going to change every diaper.
Aww.
And then when my daughter was born, I really focused on not just the diaper, the feeding, the nights, the whatever, but making sure she got as much attention as my son had gotten.
Your kids, they are just they do not want their dad to date. You put your kids first. How do you keep those needs kind of at bay?
Well, because I'm a 62-year-old single father with an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. That alone takes you out of a lot of dating scenarios. I'm not in shape for it either. You know, I put on weight during the pandemic, and I want to get.
You lost a lot. You lost nearly 90 pounds, but everyone's getting those COVID. Everyone's got more pounds to lose.
I know, and I'm working out, and it's harder to lose weight. You know, there will be a day, I assume, when it is the right time to date. But I have to find women probably that have kids.
Mm-hmm,
you know, I do talk to some of the moms at school drop-offs and stuff. And before the pandemic, I feel like I was getting somewhere. Like, you know, I had a lunch with a mom, and we talked about how bad our divorces were. But it's such a big thing. And part of it's me, because I'm like, you know, I think I'd rather be here, and I'd rather be doing what we're doing, and then we all go to sleep at the same time.
If it's someone special, it's different, but you're not gonna throw all that away just for just for like a night. What age do you think is appropriate to start talking to kids, like your kids, for example, about sex? And have you thought about the approach that you would take?
Well, if they ask me a question, like, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. You know, and I will answer it honestly. I try to be as honest about how things work, you know. And we've even talked about in vitro and what they take, how they make that, because they're both made in a test tube, but basically. You know, when their mother moved out of the house.
Which was when?
This is in 2018. We tried to live in the same house for a while, and it was an unpleasant thing, and I could tell it was unpleasant for the kids.
Yeah, the animosity, they can feel that.
Oh, the animosity is, you know,
palpable.
I realize, you know, because of Disney characters, there's always a prince and a princess. And then my daughter said, "Daddy, how did I get here?" You know, I spent a weekend after their mom moved out. I showed her birth, because I've got so much material, pictures and videos. I said, "This is where you came from, and your mom's belly, but you started with me." I make that very clear. And so it was important to me, and it is still important to me to let her know you came here because of love. Because your mom, who lived over here, and I lived over here, we always dreamed about you and your brother. And that's the thing we had in common.
That's so important. That's so moving, because, God, that's so big of you to rise above, even if you have this animosity for this woman.
You can't hate someone that you have kids with, because you look at your kids and they are part of that person.
And they see that.
Yeah, so I have that kind of love for her.
You seem like you're their hero, just on your socials and all that.
I try to act as if I am. Their whole life they've been aware that there's something about their dad, that when we go out in public together, people tend to say extraordinarily nice things.
Oh, that's nice.
Or even get emotional. And say, well, when you talked about this in public, I really connected with it, because I've been very open.
What do you get the most reaction, like you said, the most emotion?
Survivors of childhood sexual abuse. And I have to be, I dealt with it, and I put it away. I said, I'm done. But when my son was born, something was different. I was having trouble sleeping. He was getting older and older. And then it struck me one day. I was like, that's what I look like when this happened to me?
Yeah.
Because you always, in the back of your mind, if something abusive happens, so you could go on, sort of, you say, well, maybe I was a bad kid. Maybe I was ugly. Maybe I was this. Maybe I was that. And then you see your child who's perfect, and you remember, I was just like him. These people did these awful things to me. That's fucking. And then I really I had some issues because I started taking benzos. Then eventually I went back to rehab to deal with that. I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic. You'll hear from a lot of people that are either struggling or they're doing well, or they want to give me a fist bump because they're in the club with me, and that means a lot to me. Especially when I don't have time to go to a lot of meetings, because I always consider an interaction with myself and another alcoholic to be a meeting, because technically it is. So I have a lot of experience with it, and that's helpful when I'm able to say to somebody, I know you think you've done terrible things. I know you think you're terminally unique, but I can promise you that I've done the same. And I can promise you, you get on the other side of that, there is a great life. And certainly with me, every dream I've ever had has come true. Besides the show business, being a father, waking up and the kids are there, usually in my bed. My top 20 problems are not, real problems.
I love it.
Thanks.
For all of your sexual health-related news, information, and questions, visit getmegiddy.com.